Hello everybody, and welcome to Ancient Architects. Please subscribe now to get the latest ancient history news and independent research from around the world. There are so many myths and legends in the Sacred Valley of Peru, and there is one famous legend you might have heard of, that the face of the Inca creation god Viracocha is cut into the cliffs overlooking Ollantaytambo. The face we are looking at is seen in profile in the cliffs of the Pinculluna mountain, situated above Ollantaytambo, and it even looks as though he is wearing a crown and a headdress of sorts. The face of Viracocha, as it is known, is pointed out by most modern tour guides who escort visitors to the temple fortress. But is it really something important to the Inca Empire, or is it merely a cliff that accidentally looks a bit like a face? Well, every explorer, historian and archaeologist who visited Ollantaytambo from 1850 to 1980 made no mention of this iconic rock face. It's something that became popular in the 1990s, thanks to a book by Fernando and Edgar Elorrieta called The Sacred Valley of the Incas, Myths and Symbols, published in 1995. The book includes Andean mythology, solar alignments, mysterious images and effigies, and hidden iconography in the landscape, as well as the Andean animals and symbols we can trace in the famous megalithic architecture. I still believe there is something to be said about the shapes encoded into the stonework, even if many disagree, and I made a video on this recently. A Twitter user called Carlox tweeted a variety of pictures by Paloma Andina showing even more animals and symbols encoded in stone. She presents examples at Machu Picchu, Sacsayhuaman, Pisa, Cusco and so on. Maybe I'm gullible, maybe it's wishful thinking, but I can't help but think that this was all on purpose. But anyway, the face of Viracocha on the Pinculluna mountain is something different entirely, and it's strange that there is no observation or mention of it before the 1990s. It's possible that the Elorrieta brothers read about the Viracocha legend in Narrative of the Incas, an old 16th century account of the Inca by Juan de Betanzas, which was first published in 1987. Betanzos gives a native Inca story of Viracocha, how he left Tiwanaku and headed for Cusco. Apparently, on his travels, incredible statues and effigies were made in dedication to Viracocha, amazing shrines and idols created by the local indigenous people, one at a place called Cacha, 18 leagues away from Cusco, and one 6 leagues away at Urcos. But because Viracocha was coming from the southeast towards Cusco, and because Ollantaytambo is located to the northwest of the city, Betanzos was certainly not referencing Pinculluna mountain. With no obvious source of the myth, most authors call the claim fanciful, that this is a sacred Inca Viracocha effigy. Interestingly, Rick Vecchio, writing for FurtherTravel.com, believes there is one possible reference. He states there is something in the chronicles of the Augustinian friar Antonio de la Calancha, who lived in the late 16th and early 17th century. He mentions, like many other chroniclers, that the first survivor of the deluge was Viracocha, also known as Tonopah of the Titicaca Highlands. He states that those of the provinces of Cusco recognised him as their father and god, and that he appeared in Tambo, a town next to Cusco, and that he went out through a window and became a stone to which they made great veneration. So this is one possible reference alluding to the Viracocha cliff face, although it is far from definitive, and could well be talking about one of the same sites that was mentioned by Betanzas. Betanzos called the site where Viracocha sat down in Urcos the Tambo of Urcos, and some may have taken the Tambo part and applied it to Ollantaytambo. Therefore there could be a mix-up. Either way, the story of Viracocha talks of his journey from Titicaca to Cusco, and Ollantaytambo is not between the two. But saying that, and Viracocha was the important creator god to the Inca, and was surely venerated throughout the Sacred Valley, and so it is possible that other effigies were made in his honour. or that a natural face-like cliff was associated with him simply because of how it looked. The fact is, we have a lack of primary accounts and no specific written history by the Inca. Photographs with better resolution show the rock face to be likely natural and not carved, but it's hard to find any definitive investigation into it. But whether it's natural or man-made, whether or not we do have a written source by Spanish chroniclers, the belief could have always been there. If we can see a face on a cliff overlooking the Sacred Valley, well, maybe the Inca did as well, and maybe that's the reason that people built on top of its head. Nobody knows for sure if the Inca venerated the mountain, and whether or not they saw the face of their powerful creator god Viracocha. All I know is that once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it's certainly an iconic part of the landscape and a photograph that I'm sure that many tourists have in their collection. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Ancient Architects. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, please like the video, and please leave a comment below. Thank you very much.